Dubois County College Advantage. What is that? Let's find out in this edition of 18 WJTS in.form. I'm your host, Bill Potter. Joining me in the studio are the co-founders for Dubois County College Advantage. That is Erin Tower and Tony Buechler. Welcome to both of you.
Thanks for having us, Bill.
Well, let's start off. What is Dubois County College Advantage?
So we're an advocacy group trying to help learners in Dubois County accumulate college credits at a low to no cost, so that they can earn a college degree quicker and cheaper.
Now, what you're going to be talking about is something that's existed for a long time, but your organization is new because you want people to know about what you're going to tell us about.
Yeah.
Correct. Our boys were able to successfully use this program to put themselves ahead by a semester plus by taking these exams. And when it started, we weren't sure how successful they were going to be. But now that we've helped them navigate through this testing system and they have earned multiple credits, we just decided that we should probably share this information with other parents that are in the same boat as Tony and I, sending kids to school and starting to navigate the path of higher education.
What does higher education think of this? What does Purdue think, for instance?
We'll get to Purdue. And so just to give the context, because I know you've got viewers of all ages, public education right now, if you're going to attend a state school, USI, Indiana State, IU, Purdue, you're somewhere between $20,000 and $30,000 a year all in, between your food, your room and board, your tuition, your books, your travel. So obviously that's one of the largest expenses anybody's ever going to make in their lifetime outside of buying a home. And, we were both navigating this, knowing we had multiple kids who were going to go to college. We were trying to give them every advantage we could. So we realized that, okay, taking advantage of our local schools do a very good job of offering dual credit classes where they have a partnership with Ivy Tech, say, or Oakland City University, where you're taking the class, it's giving you the high school credit, but it's also giving you a college credit if you get a good enough grade. And then all of the local high schools offer some of the advanced placement testing education, which is where you take the class and then at the end of the semester you sit and you take an exam on the same day across the country. And if you score high enough, then that will give you college credit. And certain universities have different scores that you have to get for that to count. So those are two of the tools we were already using. And then you kind of hit on, so then we found out there was another tool that was out there to us. And it was kind of through an unusual variable.
So Purdue started a program. Mitch Daniels kind of has the reputation of keeping things affordable. He's frozen tuition at Purdue for 10 plus years. They haven't changed. So he's very dialed in with getting his students out in a timely manner, keeping it affordable, opportunities for everyone sort of thing. So Purdue started a program called Purdue Fast Start, and that guaranteed admission to the university if a student would pass 5 CLEP exams. So they effectively would earn 15 credits, that would be a semester, and they would have an automatic admission to Purdue University.
Both of our kids thought they were going to Purdue. So that immediately, we heard about this program, we were like, free credit that Purdue will accept, and we both, so then we kind of leaned in a little bit more doing homework from there.
And it kind of coincided, Purdue started that program, it kind of coincided with the pandemic. So it didn't really get off the ground because they were pretty enthusiastic about it and then the world stopped. So now we've, Tony and I kind of, keyed in on that and decided we needed to look into it. And was it going to work? Were our kids going to be able to take advantage? And that led us down the path of what exactly a CLEP exam was and what kind of content was available and resources to prepare and what universities would accept them. So, Purdue was kind of the jumping point because they had started that initiative, but we quickly found out that it was universities across the country. So it was not just a Purdue thing. It wasn't just for students going to Purdue. So that kind of steered us maybe away from the Purdue Fast Start automatic admission thing, but at least gave us some information where to start and get our kids on that path.
So how is this different what you're talking about than advanced placement or dual credit classes.
So we've dropped a couple of phrases there that we should. So this program that we're generally trying to get the word out about, there's a variety of tools. Our group is promoting the whole range of tools, the dual credit, the AP, but this tool that we don't feel like a lot of people know enough about, it is called CLEP. It's administered by the College Board, the SAT people, the people that do the AP test. So this is another test that the College Board offers for learners to demonstrate that they have college-level equivalency knowledge in the general education subjects. I don't know how many tests are there?
34 exams, including foreign language.
Yeah, so all the primary languages and your Englishes and your literatures and your psychologies and sociologies, government, econ, math, basic chemistry, basic biology, kind of proving, hey, I have the college equivalent of essentially the 100 level classes in college. You could acquire that knowledge. So that's one part. There's a test that the College Board administers. The big change that's happened while we've done it is that was a test you had to go drive to and take because there was not a testing center locally. Now you can take it online, digitally proctored in a closed room, so you can do it on a laptop. So that's one component is passing a test. You could have, so then how do you know the material for the test? You could be highly, like if there's adult learners out there who are highly engaged in a topic, or they're already doing it in their practical life, they may already have the knowledge that would be equivalent to taking that class. So you could, Bill, if you were a U.S. history expert, you could cold take that test, probably pass it, if you were a real history nerd and you knew a lot of the facts and figures. So the CLEP program was initially for adults. It was for independent study people, it was for military people, it was for correspondence kind of people, that they could prove that they've educated themselves either by, say, going to the library and getting a textbook and just studying the crap out of that textbook and passing that test. So where it's pivoted is, and I don't know if we've mentioned it yet, Purdue, in the promoting the CLEP test, said, educate yourself through a website called modernstates.org. And that is an online educational website, much like what the universities would have for their online education, where it's got a bunch of pre-recorded lectures by quality instructors that you watch. Then in turn, they have the textbook for free that you download. And, and then you read this chapter that goes along with this lecture, just like you would in the kind of general education classes at college. So that you learn these things. But then the twist is the modernstates.org people have some generous benefactors that have endowed them. They pay for you to take the test. This is typically about a $90 test through the College Board. So if you complete the instruction through modernstates.org, you can apply and they'll give you a voucher that then you take to the College Board people and it pays for your test. So it literally is free education, free testing, and then you got to pair it with a university that accepts it. On our Facebook page, we have the links. Almost all of the local universities accept these CLEPs. They maybe don't accept every one of all 34. They may, Purdue, for example, has a higher score you've got to attain if they're going to accept the chemistry or the biology. That there's a few idiosyncrasies of it. But generally, most schools take these, and I think they take them because these were programs and tests that military learners would take, adult learners would take, so that it gave people that a chance to earn these credits so that university like, okay, you already know this stuff, we're not going to make you come back and take Psychology 101 again. So the combination of Modern States and the College Board's CLEP program then equals earning these credits.
So you touched on the difference that this is for a student to take this exam versus what they're doing in their high school classroom. In the case of an AP class or a dual credit class that may be offered at any one of our schools, any school around. So this is different in that it's completely independent, it's completely self-paced, and it's entirely on your own time. So in high school, obviously you're in a traditional classroom with a traditional teacher, and it's a very traditional learning environment. At the end of the semester, for AP example, you would sit for the AP exam. Maybe you score high enough to earn credit for college. Maybe you don't. So it's kind of up for grabs. Just like this CLEP exam is also, you may pass it or you may not. The difference with CLEP, if you miss it by a point or two, it's okay. You can sit for it again in 3 months.
You can't do that with an AP test.
So you've lost that opportunity with AP. Now you may have demonstrated, that you took the highest level of classes offered at your high school and you demonstrated academic rigor, and that's great, but you didn't earn college credit. And maybe, you repeat that class in college and you're ahead because you learned it in the AP format, but you didn't earn the credit. So our goal was to save money, to give our kids the opportunity to, do other things besides just go to school. So for us, the advantage was my son was able to work quite a bit while he was at Purdue. So he was able to earn, quite a bit of cash on the side, which, if you're putting yourself through school, that makes a big difference. In Trevor's case, both of them probably could have graduated in 3 years. Yeah. Like, that's the track that they're on. By taking dual credit, also AP, and then supplementing with these CLEP exams, it probably put them about a year ahead.
Yeah, looks like my son's could graduate in 3, get his master's in 4. So we're going to shave 1 year of that $20,000 to $30,000 off. Right. And Erin's son is too. And maybe adding a minor because the time allows, or being able to work a job because you're only taking 12 to 14 hours instead of 15 to 17 hours. So there's some good. So, in closing, we wanted to make sure. So we formed this group because we started telling our story to people in our circle who were interested and wanted to know more. But, we've talked here for 10 minutes. It's a little complicated. There's some shades to it. So that's why we thought, okay, let's form an advocacy group. Let's put on a public session. Let's come and spread the word. And then on top of the Facebook page, we have a Facebook discussion group. So people can plug in and ask questions, pick our brains, as we did. We went in other CLEP groups, and asked questions and found supplemental tools. And we did spend some money on some supplemental tools to help our kids go through it, but it was still way cheaper than the face price, of $300 to $600 a class at most state universities.
Okay, now this is somewhat confusing for people, and probably listening, you're going, okay, I'm not really sure what that is.
The college navigation is
really
overwhelming. And if you don't have, if you're a parent that has, you didn't seek higher education, you didn't go past high school, but you have a kid that's planning on going, it's overwhelming. There's a lot to sending your kid to school. There's a lot.
And we think we're going to provide a foundation where some people can come ask us questions, either this public session or to our Facebook, areas, and that we'll be able to give some direction to help people have some of the successes that we've had.
Okay, so you're going to have a public session, which is Tuesday, May 24th. Talk about that.
So we are going to use the Hickory Room at the Jasper Library on Tuesday, May 24th at 6:30. We'll go into a little bit more detail, explaining what CLEP is, probably, how our boys handled it, the benefits that we saw as parents and our students. And then we'll get into a little bit more of the resources that our kids were able to benefit from to help them prepare for these exams, because there is quite a bit. And if you just sit down and Google, CLEP exam preparation, there's a lot. So some of it is better.
It has a much higher profile than you would believe because I'm sure you've never heard the phrase CLEP before, but when it's out there, it's maybe now getting a little more aimed at youth than adults. And we've talked to the CLEP people, and they're 1,000% on board with that.
Who should come to this meeting?
I would say we kind of, in the press release, we kind of referenced 14-year-old students and older are probably ready to start doing some of these classes. If they're academically, they don't have to be geniuses, but if they're academically serious.
There are some homeschool families in the area that do use CLEP exams as part of their homeschool curriculum. So those families may be already aware. And those kids may be a little bit younger because they tend to be learning independently, and but for us, we kind of left it at high school age. So
students can come with their parents, But it's not solely for those folks. If there's adult learners out there who are thinking, I need to go and I'm going to get a degree, but maybe I earned a little bit in high school. This is a great program where you can lay a lot of foundation. And when you plug into this community, not just ours, but we can kind of direct you. There's other groups that people are out there figuring out how to get great educations for a very low dollar, because we're in an online learning world now where degree does not equal going to Bloomington or West Lafayette or Evansville. That there are a lot of opportunities, and I think this could be a stepping stone to getting into some of that. So it's a very broad invitation to people who want to come. Students are going to come. We may be able to talk practically enough that they get it. Oh, okay, I'm going to watch some YouTube videos, I'm going to read a thing, and I'm going to sit and take a test. The parents will get a bit more of the vision about, oh, I could pluck off 15 credit hours or 30 credit hours of a 120-hour college degree, and make some time savings. So it's a pretty broad group. We hope people will show up. If they can't make it, plug into our Facebook page. We may have some future things, every weeknight is always busy. We may have some future other events down the line to give some people an opportunity to plug in.
Okay, so Tuesday, May 24th, at what time?
6:30 p.m. at the Hickory Room at the Jasper Library.
Which is located in the Tim Clark Cultural Center.
Correct.
Yep.
And so take part in it. Just go to learn. It's kind of like a session just to sit and listen.
Yep.
See what others have done through experience.
Yes.
Yep.
All right. Well, thanks to both of you for coming in.
Thank you very much.
Erin Tower and Tony Buechler, the Dubois County College Advantage co-founders.
Yep.
Find out more by checking them out on Facebook or go to the meeting on Tuesday, May 24th. Thank you for watching 18WJTS. We are local people watching local people.